Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So as you can see from the title, in today's reading we're going to be finding out all about your soulmate. So this reading is going to be about that one soulmate who you are destined to end up with romantically in this lifetime. We're going to find out what kind of connection you two have, some characteristics about that person, and also some guidance for you along the journey to your union and what that progression is going to look like. So there's 4 readings for you guys to choose from today. I'm going to show you the crystals and then please pick whichever one is calling to you the most. I think for this particular reading it will make the most sense if you pick just one, so please try to pick just one if you can. Okay, so for number 1 we have Black Tourmaline. Number 2 is Opalite. Number 3 is Blue Calcite. And number 4 is Fluorite. So as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s. So if you chose the Black Tourmaline, this is going to be your reading. So just from feeling the energy of this pile before I even look at the cards, I am just feeling overwhelming emotion. It's not necessarily like positive or negative. I just have the feeling of being very emotional. So I think that the soulmate that you're meant to end up with in this lifetime probably feels things very deep. And I'm seeing, like, if I could describe it in a more symbolic way, it's like they have a very broad spectrum of colors and shades when it comes to emotions. Like they can feel many different nuances and maybe they can feel many emotions at a time. It's actually quite likely that whether they know it or not, they do have the skill of, what is it? Oh my gosh, clairsentience and also empathy. Like they're an empath. That's what I'm trying to say. They may not realize that, but I sense very deeply that they have this sort of ability to pick up on other people's emotions, and it can get quite overwhelming. I don't necessarily think that they're the type to like act out with these emotions. Like they don't come across as very like volatile or having emotional outbursts, but they definitely carry some very deep emotions in their vessel, if that makes sense. This person would probably be a very good psychic, but they may not realize that they have these gifts. I just feel this like emotional, very in tune, very sensitive sort of energy coming from them. I'm also feeling, I think this soulmate connection is a starseed connection. So if you're not familiar with that term, it basically means that you and this other soul have had lifetimes in other star systems, like in other worlds, and you have come to Earth now to help make it a better place, to help with the awakening of Earth. Okay, so let's move on to the cards now. So for your very first card about this soulmate connection, there is Soulcraft. So right off the bat with this card, I am picking up very creative vibes. So you might do something creative for a living, or your soulmate does something creative for a living. Maybe you're going to feel called to do that when you come together with this person. The two of you likely have the same creative talents, and you may even be called to collaborate together on some sort of creative endeavor, creative pursuits. Now when we talk about like creation, creativity, creating stuff, like I do tend to talk about it in like the artist way, you know, like you're creating art or music or something. But if you think about it from the soul's perspective, the soul's creativity is creating the life that you want, creating your destiny. So your creation might be like your career as a doctor or a teacher or a social worker. Maybe that's your divine creation. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something artistic, but I sense from this connection that you really support each other in creating the life that you were destined to have, and you will probably collaborate with each other very often because you're stronger together in that sense. You each have your own pursuits and you each bring 100% to what you do. So when you come together, it's like 200%. It's crazy, very powerful. Another thing with this card, with the number 10 on it, this makes me think of something coming to completion. So if I think about, you know, an extensive craft that you have put time and effort into and it's coming to completion, I feel that perhaps you guys have been working on this union, like not just in this lifetime. It's been something that you've been trying to do for many lifetimes, and oh, I'm feeling kind of sad now, and it hasn't really like panned out the way you hoped it would. There's kind of, if I sit with it, it's kind of like this feeling of loneliness, that you really miss each other, and this, you know, making this happen on this planet Earth is like, it's been kind of difficult, and this is like your masterpiece that you've been working on for many, many lifetimes. But this number 10 is very promising because this shows completion. So I think that this is the lifetime where you guys are finally gonna get it right, you know? And Earth is a hard place to make it work, you know? In other, I know this is going to sound very like woo-woo for people who are not into this kind of stuff, but you know, life on other planets or other star systems, it can be a lot easier because the energy is just less dense and you're operating from a higher perspective. And this world just has so many barriers and everything is, I don't know, people are just shitty. So I think it's going to be, or it has been quite difficult to make this happen over the course of your human lifetimes, but you're finally getting it right. Like, this is your craft, and then when you come together, it really is like this masterpiece. You have so much to show for it, and there's like this sense of pride, like, yes, this is our divine union, this is our relationship, we've been through so much, but look what we created. So the Soulcraft could even be the union itself, but I do think a lot of you will be creatively inclined. Okay, so let's look at some other cards. So there's 6 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. This is so sweet. Okay, I'm just going to talk about these two for a little bit. Look at how sweet the artwork on this is. It's like you're these pure, innocent little children and you're just holding hands and you're walking home together. This tells me that your souls have been together for a very, very, very long time. Like best friends or even like family, like your souls are inseparable. You've been through so much together. The same way, like as people, if you were siblings, it's like, I've known you my whole life. We grew up together. I know everything about you, like all the good, all the bad. We've shared a lot of the same experiences. That's kind of the relationship that your souls have. So very, very close. When you meet them, I think if you've already met this person, you would definitely know, because it really, really feels like coming home. That's what this lifetime is for you guys. You are coming home to each other after a very long journey. And, you know, you've been very, very grateful for all the experiences that you've had, because of course you've had some wonderful adventures on your own. You've seen a lot of sights, you've learned a lot of things, you've grown a lot, but you know, at some point you get weary, your feet start to hurt, and you just want to go home and curl up with the person that you care about, and that's this person. So I feel like your souls have grown a little bit weary being apart from each other. It's like that feeling like if you've been traveling the world and it's been amazing, but also you miss your family back home. And eventually you want to go back. Like there's no place like home. It's this kind of feeling. And yes, it's very, very familiar. And it's an easy connection as far as the compatibility between the two of you goes, how you get on with each other. So your circumstances may have been quite difficult, but as far as it goes when you're together, it's like there's no like fighting, there's no like separating and coming back like of your own will. Do you know what I mean? You might get pulled apart by circumstances, but I think once you're together you would not want to separate. Like there's this very inseparable sort of feeling to it. And yeah, I think for the most part, like, of course we're gonna have some doubts because we're people, and that's just how it is, you know. Our logical brain likes to be skeptical and question things, but I think for the most part you would be fairly certain that this is your person. So if you already have someone in mind and you're like, I'm 99% sure it's them, you can be 100% sure. If you have that feeling in your heart, if you know, you know. So this can be a confirmation message for you. And you are on the way home. Look, like you can actually see your house on the horizon, and you know, you have no idea how long this path has been. You know, this path could go out way farther. And I love like the flowers here. It's like it looks like celebration. Like, congratulations, you're in the home stretch, you almost made it, like reaching the finish line kind of feeling. And if you look at the mountains in the background, mountains often represent like challenges or difficulties. So I do think you've been through a lot. Again, not with the dynamic between the two of you, but just like circumstances in life giving you a hard time and pulling you apart. You know, barriers to your union and things like that. But look, your little house is just there. It's just around the corner. And there's even smoke coming out of the chimney, it looks like. So there's probably a nice warm fireplace lit in there. You can go in and stretch and just curl up together. And things are about to get a lot easier for you guys. Okay, and then we have the 10 of Cups. So look at this. This is actually really sweet. Like if you look at it together, like this is the two of you. And now you've been through so much, and now you're grown. Like you're older, you're wiser. And now you can start like a family of your own. This card is like you're happily ever after. And I love, it kind of looks like they're like reminiscing together of like all of the stuff that they've been through, and like look at the happy life we've created now. That's all behind us, and now we can give our children a happy life. So whatever happily ever after means to you, that's what this card is going to be. So if that's like getting married to this person and having children, that's what this represents. If this is like getting married and having a bunch of dogs, that's what this is. If it's just living together with none of that family stuff, that's what this is. This is like your dream come true, the happy end to your story. I really, really feel like you guys have been through the worst of your connection. You've been through the worst. I think a lot of you probably already know who this is in this lifetime. If not, you will very soon, because the worst is over for you guys. And like, even if you haven't met them physically, you probably have been like feeling them energetically and feeling their absence, because there really is this like heavy nostalgia kind of feeling, and like a longing for them. Like it feels maybe not sad, but it feels like bittersweet, you know. I think if you don't like physically know them, you at least like recognize their energy, recognize that their soul is calling to you. But yeah, the worst is definitely behind you guys, and you're ready to move into a place where you can just start creating the life that you've always wanted to have together. So let's look at some cards for their personality now. So we have the Moon and we have the Ace of Swords. So there's a lot of there's a lot of water energy going on here, especially Pisces. So your soulmate could be a Pisces or a water sign, or you could be that sign. There's also a little bit of air going on here, so there may be some air thrown into there, but it's very heavily water. So with the moon, yeah, this card makes a lot of sense coming out with what I was feeling in the beginning, like those very, very deep emotions, because the moon is somebody who is very sensitive, very soft, like that Pisces energy, very creative, very psychic, very very deep emotions and deep imagination. This is someone who needs to be protected. Do you know what I mean? Like, just too pure. And this person could kind of get lost in their feelings, or, you know, get lost up in the clouds. Very, very vivid imagination, which can be a good thing and a bad thing depending on, you know, which direction the current takes you in. This is Pisces energy, so it's not like that deep energy, that deep still energy of Scorpio where you just sink to the bottom. It's like a current, like the fish swimming in two different directions. So they may feel sometimes like their imagination or emotions like get the best of them, and they could get really, really deep into some thoughts. Like, do you ever like get yourself really, really stressed out over scenarios that are never going to happen just because you're imagining them and it's so vivid in your mind and you really feel the emotions? That's kind of what this person is like, because they can experience it so vividly as if it was actually happening. But of course, if they channel this in a positive way, they could manifest some really amazing things in their life, because as you might know, like having really vivid visualizations can help to bring that into your experience. And it's also really good as an artist, you know, if you have such a vivid imagination, you can bring a lot of beautiful works of art into this world. Yeah, definitely as well with the Soulcraft. If this isn't you, your soulmate is definitely very, very creative person. And if they're not doing anything artistic, they absolutely should be. They can make some very beautiful stuff that people relate to on a deep level, because this Pisces energy is like the collective unconscious. So they can make art that really stirs up some deep emotion in people. Like, even this, you know, sort of familiarity, like they don't recognize it, but the art is like calling out to some deep part within them. I think that they can reach a lot of people with this craft. With the Ace of Swords as well. So this person, you know, they're soft and sensitive, but they're also strong. This card is it's a sign of a very smart person, very intelligent, like a very sharp mind. Like you can see the sword is very sharp and shiny, and very direct, very straightforward. So, you know, their mind, when they're like daydreaming or fantasizing or things like that, their mind can go in a million directions. But when it's time for them to communicate, when it's time for them to state their intentions with you or with anyone else, I think they can be quite straightforward. They know like what they want to say, they know when to say it, how to say it. So they can really get to like the root of the problem very quickly. So that's kind of cool. It's like they have this deep well within them, and maybe they kind of know how to navigate it. Maybe it's not such a problem for them. But yeah, this person has an amazing mind, very, very smart. And I imagine that you do as well. If you're this close together, you probably mirror each other in that way. This is someone who would just be so interesting to talk to. Like, they can really talk about anything. They can talk about those really deep topics or even small talk, because their mind can go anywhere. So you will never get bored with them. You'll probably have a lot of really interesting conversations and like revelations as a result of just being around them. And I also think because of like the sharpness, they have this like wit about them and this sense of humor about them too. Yeah, and this is also not a person who would shy away from a challenge, because this is a card of like victory, you know, overcoming tough situations. This card also has, both of them have mountains in them. So, you know, I think this is somebody who has really embraced this side of them. Like, they've embraced their vulnerability, they've embraced their sensitivity, but it doesn't make them weak, you know? It makes them stronger. And maybe they have their moments, like we all have our moments when we get a little bit in our head, we get a little bit anxious, but that doesn't stop them from going after what they want. You know, like they don't let that control them. They don't fall victim to it. They just do their best to navigate the currents, and I think they do a really, really good job of it. You know, I mean, they've had this mind their whole life, and I think they've really put in the work to get acquainted with it and understand how their mind works, so that they really, yeah, they're not a victim to it and really make the best of it. So this is a very smart person, very powerful person, also very kind and compassionate. Definitely psychic abilities here. Yeah, okay. Let's look at some more cards. This is getting a lot longer than I expected. Oh my gosh. Loyal Heart. Yin. And Not For You. Okay. Loyal Heart, I feel, doesn't need much explanation. This person is or will be a very, very loyal partner to you. They do not want anybody else. And this kind of goes nicely with that Ace of Swords energy about being like direct and decisive. Like they know what they want and they're gonna recognize you. If you have already met this person, then they do recognize you. Even if it's like on a subconscious level, something in their brain is like, ah, this person is different. I feel like this is my person. And if you haven't met them yet, they will recognize that. And they don't want anybody else. With this 10 of Cups, you know, I think this is someone who wants like the whole, like the real thing, you know. They're not interested in like casual relationships or superficial relationships, at least not anymore. Maybe there was a time in their life where they did kind of do that whole like casual fling thing, but at this point right now when you're watching this, I think they've come to the realization that that's not what they want. They want like an owl friend that they can come home to all the time. They want something stable, and that's what they're going to give you. They're going to choose you every day. They're going to love only you, and they're going to let you know that, like, all the time. So, and I'm feeling like they would never get tired of, like, reassuring you of that. You know, sometimes we feel, like, insecure about, or, like, jealous about our partner, like, if they're going to, you know, look at someone else or they like someone else. And they're not going to get like defensive or get upset at you. Like, I think actually they would kind of like it. If you need some reassurance, they will be more than happy to tell you like 1,000,000 times a day. Like, I love you. You're the only one for me. They will be so sweet, so loyal to you. This person will definitely be faithful, so you don't have to worry about them having like a wandering eye or anything like that. Okay, I'm also feeling, yeah, with these two owls, this level of like wisdom, psychic ability, this depth that they have, you definitely mirror each other in that way. Like, you're both the owls, you both have this deep knowing to you. Yeah, the yin energy, similar to the moon with that sort of deep sensitivity and intuition as well. This is feminine energy. So regardless of the gender of this person or your gender, I think that your soulmate does have they come off as very feminine, you know, so graceful, beautiful, nurturing. There's a very calming feeling about this card. And I think that when you're around them, they have the ability to soothe you and make you forget about any stresses that you're feeling, anything that's hurting you, just from their presence, you know, just from being around them. There's something about them that really, really calms you down. It's like when, like, you're a baby and, where am I going with this? You know how babies freak out when their mom leaves the room, and then when their mom comes back, they're like, ah, okay, I can be calm again. This is the kind of feeling I get from them. They really, really calm you down, because you feel you feel safe and you feel comfortable and you feel understood. Okay, so next we have this not for you card. So I'm not sure who this message is for. It could be both of you actually, but this card gives me a feeling of like somebody in the connection thinks that the other one is out of their league, like that they don't have a chance, that it's too good to be true, something like that. And this can happen even when you've come to a realization that the person is your soulmate, because as long as we're people living people lives, oh gosh, where am I going? As long as we're people and we have that logical mind, it's gonna come in sometimes and mess with us. So don't feel bad if you're not always like 100% of like, yes, this is my soulmate, we're meant to be together, I trust my intuition. Because it's really, I feel like it's almost impossible for humans to like reach that level. We're always gonna have that sort of asshole like skeptical mind come in. Oh, but what if it's not? What if they are not interested in you? What if they don't care? What if this is too good to be true and you guys are gonna break up? There's always gonna be that little annoying voice in your head that comes in. So this could be both of you experiencing that, because you just both feel that the other is too good to be true. Or it can be just you towards them or them towards you. But there is that kind of feeling because, you know, what are the chances that you meet somebody who gets you so well and who just makes you feel so calm and relaxed? It kind of goes with this energy. You know when, like, things are too good, like things are too calm and stress-free, things are too easy. And your brain is like, okay, something bad is definitely going to happen because this is too good. Like when, you know, oh, I haven't stressed about anything today. It would be a shame if something stressful happened. Our mind just likes to do these nasty little things to us. And so I think that's kind of the feeling you get from this relationship, especially after you've been through such a long and difficult journey to get to them. I think it's just going to be a little bit hard for you, maybe it's both of you, to process that, like, that's it, like you're actually safe now, you're actually home, like nothing's gonna mess with you anymore, you can relax, you can let your guard down, you're here, you're together. That's gonna be kind of a hard concept for you guys to like to wrap your head around. And also just that this like angel of a person wants to be with you. I think that's gonna be a mutual thing. Like, really? Me? Are you sure? Yeah, so very, very, it's very sweet. Okay, we have a few more cards. There is stay optimistic about your love life and flirts. Ooh, these are nice cards. So yeah, your soulmate, like we're kind of talking about with this card here that they're going to be very, you know, vocal about how much they care about you, how much they just love to be around you and have you in their life and only you. So this flirt card is kind of reinforcing for me that, yeah, they're going to be super affectionate towards you, always like showering you with love, always being very playful, always lighthearted to you. This is giving me even more of that stress-free energy, you guys. Like, I cannot stress like how easy this relationship is going to be once you actually are together. Like, very, very easy. And we also have this like beautiful, optimistic, positive energy coming from them. So, you know, not only being around them makes you feel like calm and soothed, it also makes you feel really, really, you know, optimistic about the future. You know, like you can have all of this happily ever after that you've always been dreaming about. Okay, so next we have unlikely and we have let go. Ooh, you can't see them. Where should I put them? Yeah, let's put them here. So with this unlikely card, I think that the way you're gonna meet, or if you've already met, the way that you're gonna come together is gonna be a result of a bunch of like coincidences or events where you're like, what were the chances of that happening? Like, what are the odds of that? For example, like bumping into each other at a really strange place where like you never see anybody you know, or like, what are they doing here? I didn't know they were into this, like that kind of thing. Or the way you met was like under really weird circumstances. I'm sorry, I can't think of any more concrete examples, but you guys would have a really, really great like how we met story. Like when you tell your friends or your family how you met, they're like, no, you're lying, there's no way. So maybe there's like a lot of synchronicities and things like that leading up to how you met, but it's a very unlikely story. Like it goes against all odds. Maybe it's something like you met but you didn't get each other's contact information, like you just saw each other's face for a split second and you're like, I'll never see that beautiful woman or that beautiful man again, and then like years later you bump into each other at a McDonald's or somewhere more romantic than McDonald's. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like what are the chances? Maybe you meet each other in a different country, like you bump into each other again in a different country, just something unlikely like that people would think you're lying. And then we also have let go. So this is, you know, let go, leave it up to the divine plan, leave it up to divine timing. I know you guys have been on a very, very long path searching for this person. Maybe some of you haven't even found them yet in this lifetime, but this is a card that's coming out to remind you to trust the process. Don't rush anything. Stay optimistic, because positive thinking and faith will bring this relationship to you. Just leave it to your angels. You know, they've brought you this far, and they wouldn't leave you at this point. You know, they wouldn't take you through all of this stuff, through all of this lifetimes, bring you up to this point and then just be like, well, you're on your own, bye. Like, no, they're still with you. They're still working on this. Sometimes you may doubt that. It's okay, but they're here, they're working for you, they're working with you, and everything's gonna be okay. Okay, so we're finally down to the last cards. This may be like the longest reading I've ever done. It is a lot more cards than I usually do, but let's see what we have. So this is gonna be like the sort of sequence leading up to your union, like your happily ever after. So this card is the woman, so you have even more feminine energy. This is this a lily? The lily, I think. And the house. I'm really bad with this deck, so I may not be using the proper names. I'm just kind of going off what's on the picture. But we have the woman showing up here. So I do think that your soulmate is the feminine of this relationship and you are the masculine. Now keep in mind that has nothing to do with your actual gender. Like it could be like you're the woman and they're the man, or you're two women, two men, whatever it is. There's generally in the soul relationships, we talk about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It's just like the yin and the yang sort of thing. So I think this is referring to them as the feminine. So this is going to kick off from them. I think they are going to initiate something towards you. They're going to make it clear that they have recognized you, because we had, there's too many cards here. Like we had this Ace of Swords. They're going to know something's up right away. Maybe they're just waiting for, you know, the chance to see you again to make this move. But when they see you again, when they have the chance, they will come forward. So the next step for you in this union is they, the feminine, are going to come forward to you. And then we have the lily. So this card is kind of weird because in the booklet it says it's about like simplicity and purity, but it's also about sex. So maybe you start like that kind of relationship, but it's very pure. It's very like innocent. Like there's just something very, even with the Six of Cups, there's something very pure and sweet and innocent about the relationship. So maybe it's like a very, I don't know, a very sweet, very gentle kind of intimate relationship that starts between the two of you. Then it grows into like a committed partnership, and then we have the House, and this talks about basically like this 10 of Cups. This is like your happy home, your happy family, your happily ever after. So you can even see here this progression is like very, very easy, very logical. I think the most difficult part for you guys is over. We have the numbers like 29 and 30 here, so maybe, you know, you're getting this happily ever after when you're 29 or 30, or they're 29 or 30, or it could be like in 4 years from now that you have this beautiful happy ending with them. That doesn't mean like 4 years until you like get together with them, but I mean like until you've reached that point where like you're living together, you're married, you have a family, like it's you've accomplished that. Maybe 4 years, or the ages of 29, 30 are significant. Okay, whew, so that was super, super long. I wasn't expecting that. If you watched this far, thank you very, very much. Thank you for letting me read for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Hi, number 2s. So if you chose the Opalite, this is going to be your reading. So the energy that I'm picking up right away from your soulmate is that this is a person who really, really likes their comforts. I don't know why that's coming up. Maybe it's like a significant part of their personality, but this is someone who just really likes to be comfortable. I'm almost feeling it as like a Taurus-y kind of energy. That's just an easier way to explain it, because if you know about the Taurian personality, it's like, you know, they like their comfy environments, they like their home, they like food a lot, they like nice music, like they just want to always be comfy. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a Taurus, but that's like the easiest way for me to give an example that I think you guys can understand. It could be someone too who's, you know, kind of set in their ways, or, you know, they like to have their routine, they kind of stick to their habits and stick to the same thing. It doesn't mean by any means that like they never want to do anything spontaneous or they don't like adventures. It's just that what makes them most happy is, you know, just to be like in their own little corner doing their own thing. You know, do what they like uninterrupted. They like things to be like familiar, comfortable, predictable, like this kind of energy. They like their comforts. Okay, so let's get into the reading. So your first card is manifestation. So this tells me that you are actually in the process of manifesting this soulmate relationship right now. You probably both are manifesting it. I feel like you guys are kind of on the same wavelength right now, like with what you're doing in life, your outlook on life, what you want for the future, you know, how you're feeling on the inside. I feel like you guys are really, yeah, on the same wave. You may be dreaming about this person a lot, or more often than usual. They may be dreaming about you. You could even have like telepathic communication, oh my gosh, telepathic communication with this person, whether you've met them in the physical or not. I feel like you guys might be picking up on each other's thoughts, and you may not realize it because like they're so similar, but I feel like you're just thinking and acting and behaving in like very, very similar ways right now. Like you are entangled, you know? I really like this imagery on here because it looks like, you know, this looks like kind of the city where the angels might live, like heaven, if I'm imagining it like that. And you can see this very, very straightforward, direct beam of light going down to earth. So this tells me that your spiritual team up here, you know, including your higher selves, your guides, your angels, they are on it. They are working on this. remember that. They did not, maybe sometimes you think like your prayers or your wish for this relationship got lost with all the other ones, but they heard you very clearly. They have identified, oh my gosh, they have identified your soulmate for you. They have identified you for your soulmate, and they know exactly where you are and exactly what to do. They are on it. Also, another message for you guys is don't worry that you're blocking this connection, because you're really not. If there's been any like delays, it's just a matter of them, you know, figuring everything out. I kind of use this phrasing a lot, like moving the pieces around. Like, they can see everything on Earth because they have a very expanded perspective. So they just have to get all the pieces in order and then allow time to work its magic and get everything to shift into place. So everything is right on schedule. Your manifestation did not get lost. You're not blocking it. Everything looks really perfect. Like, look at this laser focus, how this light is just like beaming uninterrupted down onto Earth. They know exactly what you want. This to me would also be confirmation. If any of you guys are like watching this with a specific person in mind, then yes, that person is your soulmate. You probably also have this like this radar, like this laser beam, and you can recognize them. So yeah, you're manifesting. There's also the number 25 here. So the number 2 is about change. Actually, 2 and 5, I associate both of these numbers with change, and the number 2 more specifically about having faith. So yeah, this is a confirmation message for you. Have faith in your angels. They are doing the best job possible. They are going to get this connection to you in the fastest way, in the best way, and yeah, you're absolutely on the right track to manifesting each other. Okay, so oh, and even if your soulmate like doesn't have that realization that it's like, you know, a spiritual process of manifesting, they may not word it like that, but they are you know, putting out that sort of positive intention of like, I am ready for love, I'm ready for a new relationship, like that. Okay, so let's look at some more cards to see the nature of this connection. Okay, so we have Death and the 3 of Swords. So this is a relationship that is going to change everything. With this Death card, this is transformation, this is rebirth. This is like completely letting go of the past. I think this relationship with this person, the dynamic between the two of you, and especially the intimacy that you share with each other, is going to be unlike anything you have experienced before in any other relationship. Like, even, I would go so far as to say, like, even with your best friends or even with a family member who should know you like really, really well and really get you, it doesn't hold a candle. Yes, I think that's the expression. It doesn't hold a candle to like what you feel with this person. And when I say intimacy, like, of course there's like intimacy in the physical sense, but there's also just the intimacy of like really seeing into somebody's soul, seeing all their shadows, seeing all their secrets. This is really that kind of relationship where you bear all to the other person. And you know, there's some things that no matter how close we get with someone, it can be kind of hard to talk about. You know, maybe some things we've done in the past that we're ashamed of, or that, you know, our sort of shadow or dark side. It can be really hard to open that up, even to ourselves. There's a lot of stuff we don't want to think about or remember that we've done or that we've thought before when we're on our own. But this relationship is like you cannot hide anything. This is that Scorpio energy. This is very deep, very intimate, very powerful connection. So you're really seeing all of somebody, the good and the bad, and embracing everything. I feel like that's not really something you've been able to do in your past relationships. I feel like a lot of the relationships, like both of you respectively have had in the past, kind of showed you like what love isn't or what love shouldn't be. Because we have the 3 of Swords as well, and this tells me like this is about letting go of the past, right? Like shedding your skin from the past. And so I think you guys have a past of relationships that really hurt you. Like your partner just wasn't right for you. In some cases, for some of you, it may actually have been that like your partner did things to intentionally hurt you, because, you know, they were just immature, or they didn't know how to handle their emotions. That's going to be for some of you. It may have been like, you know, they were just careless with your heart, and so they hurt you in that way, or you just didn't feel seen by them. But definitely I feel this for your soulmate and their previous relationships, although this might resonate for you too. Their past experiences have kind of led them to this belief that's like, they really don't want to believe it, but it seems like love equals pain, or like love equals getting hurt. Or like if you're in a relationship with somebody and it's going well, it's bound to go sour at some point, because that's just like how people are. Like, and if I get really, really like deep with it, there could even be this doubt of like, you know, can people truly love someone like they say they do? Like, is it just a matter of time before you know, start to hate the person, or you start to want to hurt them, or like, why do people do this? You know, they might look at how many relationships like end in divorce, or how many relationships have like unfaithfulness and fighting and all these things, and really question love, because this is a very sad card, you know. It's heartbreak. I think this person has gotten their heart broken. And so with this death card, you know, when you two come together, it's like you're really just shedding all of that and just so deeply transforming it. Like, this is like regeneration, rebirth. So definitely for them, like, you will make them believe in love again. And that might be reciprocated for you as well. Like, they're going to make you believe in love again. You're finally going to get to see what a real relationship is supposed to be like, and to have, you know, to be able to expose all of yourself and just have it accepted, like no questions asked. Like, it's something that you never thought was possible, or that you stopped believing was possible. So I do see this as a very, very deeply moving connection, that neither of you are really expecting. Like, you know, you're trying to manifest this relationship, you know, manifest happiness, love, companionship. I don't think either of you realize just yet, like, how, like, groundbreaking, no, earth-shattering this relationship really is going to be. Like, weights will be lifted off your shoulders that you didn't even realize you were carrying. All of a sudden, you feel 1,000,000 pounds lighter. You're like, what's going on? Oh, it's because I can just be authentic around this person. I don't have to hide anything. I don't have to suppress anything. I don't have to, like, worry every day. Like, what if something goes wrong? What if they fall out of love with me and they hurt me again? Like, it's just gone. Like, yeah, total transformation, total rebirth with this connection. So I think that this is like your true soulmate, and that both of you have kind of been in, you know, karmic relationships, or the false twin relationships, ones that ended in heartbreak, and now you're finally ready for the real thing. Okay, so moving on, let's look at some of this person's characteristics. So there is the Page of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So we have, this is an air sign person, Gemini, oh my gosh, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also have a bit of water. Actually, all of the cards here, it's either air or water. So this could be like a Scorpio with Libra placements, or an air sign with some water placements, maybe like with a water Venus or something. I do see with the Ace of Cups that this is a very romantic person. At their core, you know, all of this painful experiences aside, at their core, this is somebody who is, you know, a romantic, an idealist. You know, they just want to be happy. Yeah, they really want, like, a loving, supportive, caring relationship. They want to make somebody happy. They want to fill someone's cup like this so that it's overflowing, you know, provide somebody with all the love they need and more. And I'm getting kind of sad looking at this cup, you know, because it's just one cup. Like, this is all you need to be happy. You just need to, you know, if your cup is full, you're happy. And it's this feeling like they never ask for that much. And this could also be a message that resonates with you. Like, they never ask for that much. They're not like this crazy, like, demanding partner with, you know, through the roof, unrealistic expectations of their significant other, and like a long list of a million things they want in a partner. Like, I feel like they're pretty simple. And that kind of goes with like the energy I was picking up in the beginning of them just, you know, wanting to be comfortable, relaxed. I think this is a very laid back person who just got their feathers ruffled too many times. But they never, like, all they wanted was just somebody to care for, you know, somebody to come home to, somebody who, you know, gets them, someone they don't mind spending like all day, every day with for the rest of their life. Like, they just want a friend, they just want a companion, you know, somebody who's nice to them, you know. And even when they ask for so little, or just such a simple request for a lover, it's like they got hit with this shitstorm. And so, you know, it can be quite disillusioning, quite disappointing. But I really think, like, throughout all of that, they haven't lost their faith, you know. And this, to me, it's like they're ready for a new beginning. They want to give this cup to somebody. And probably what they're realizing right now is that they have to start by filling their own cup. So this person is probably very focused on self-love right now, developing self-love, and then as a result developing more boundaries, you know, developing their, you know, idea of a healthy relationship, the kind of partner they want, almost like they're like mending their heart right now, filling this cup. But yes, very romantic, very generous. They're very, very giving. Like, if all they had left was the shirt on their back, they would give it to you. You know, if you're their person, if you're in a relationship, they'll give you anything. Like, what do you need? Just tell me. Like, I don't care how much it is. I'll find a way. I'll go get it. Like, they're just very, very giving naturally. And don't really expect much in return, you know. They're just giving from their heart. We have the Page of Swords too. So this is a very curious person, very intelligent. They have a sort of childlike or youthful quality to them. Really like, you know, conversation. They like learning new things. They might be the type to like ask a lot of questions, crack a lot of jokes, because they have a very like quick wit, and I feel like their head is kind of like a sponge. Like, they soak up a lot of information. They probably know a lot of useless facts. I feel like this is somebody who consumes like a lot of media or a lot of different products. Like, they always want to find like the next coolest new thing, because they're just like so in awe of the world and how much diversity is there, and, you know, all the advancements these days. Like, there's always something new and cool to look at. So they really, like, no matter how old this person is, they approach like new people and new situations with that kind of childlike wonder. They would love to, you know, have a conversation with anybody, because they're the type of person who believes like you can really learn something new from everyone. A feeling that I get a lot with this like Page of Swords card, kind of going back to like the media thing, like they love to share that. Like, if they're in a relationship, they want to like tell you all about what they learned, or like, oh, I was watching this show yesterday, oh my gosh, it was so crazy, like there was this guy and he was a serial killer and da-da. Like, they'll like tell you the whole episode, and like they want to like show this game that they found to you, or they want to show you this movie, or they want to talk to you. And so I'm getting like this kind of, you know, excitable energy from them too, like childlike, excitable. This could be actually like, looking at the Three of Swords, they may have gotten hurt like because of this, because they're so like pure, and they just get really, you know, excited. And I feel like they may have gotten like made fun of because of this, like in their past relationships, or like going back to like the childlike thing. Like, imagine you're a kid and you made those, what are they, you know, the things that you do when you're a kid where you like glue macaroni onto paper, and then you like go up to your mom and you're all excited and you're like, look what I made. Your mom like doesn't even look up from her work and she's like, oh, that's nice, honey. You know, I feel like this person, your soulmate, probably had experiences like that where they'd be like, oh my gosh, I watched this really good movie last weekend, like, do you want to watch it tomorrow when we hang out? And their partner is like, no, that sounds stupid, I don't want to watch that. Or like, why are you getting so like excited about that? It's not like it has anything to do with your life. Or, you know, like, you're talking too much. Or, you know, just like little comments like that that probably they, you know, brush off. And is that it? Oh, there's an earthquake happening right now. That's Japan. Just keep it moving, folks. Okay. Oh my gosh. Y'all, what does this mean? Can you hear, like, my stuff rattling? I'm on, like, the top floor of my building, too, so when you're on the top, like, it does this a lot more. You know what? I'm gonna take that as a testament to the earth-shattering nature of this relationship. Whoa! It's still, my room is still shaking. Anyway, so yeah, I just think probably they've been like invalidated a lot. And you know, like, if it happens once, you don't really care, right? You know, if someone's like, oh, why do you like that? That's stupid. Or like, I don't want to listen to your song, Jeffrey. Like, you know, just like little things like that. It's fine. But if someone's constantly doing it, like all these little micro things, like constantly knocking you down and like invalidating the things that you like and the things that you're interested in, and the things that you have to say. It could even be like, you know, their significant other came home from work and they're like, how was your day? Tell me about your day. And their significant other's like, it was fine, I'm so tired, you know? They're just like, well, don't you want to talk to me? Like, this person really likes, they just really like company. They really like companionship. And I feel so sad talking about this because they're just like the sweetest baby. And maybe you have had similar experiences like this where your partners just kind of like invalidate you. And it's like, what's even the point then? Like, if you don't want to like hear about my day or talk to me or like learn about me, or I can't share any of this stuff with you, like, why do you even want to be with me? Like, you could be with anyone if that's the case. And you know, they want that like one person to give their love to, and it seems like such a simple thing, you know? I'm like getting worked up on their behalf, but yeah, they've definitely been like torn down by their partners. And it might be that kind of like misery loves company thing where, like, you know, when you like, you're unhappy with your life and then you see someone who's just so like unapologetically like joyful and excited, and like unconsciously you just want to kind of tear them down a little bit. That might have been the case, but it's really sweet like when you guys come together, because if you are mirroring each other and you both have this kind of nature about you, it's like you will build each other up and just get really like excited about stuff. Yeah, and just have like the most fun together. Like, it's very childlike. Like, you're getting rid of all this like heavy energy with this death card, like shedding your skin, moving into something that's just a lot more fun and a lot more lighthearted and really healing, like deeply healing. And it's just this feeling of like, yes, this is all I ever wanted. This is all I'm ever asking for. And I feel like when you guys are living together, it will be that feeling of like, you know, when you were younger and you sleep over at your best friend's house and you stay up really, really late because you just can't stop laughing and like making dumb jokes and, oh my gosh, do you remember this? And just like talking about everything. It's gonna be like that all the time, you know. It's like 3 a.m. and you're like, should we make popcorn? Because you're just not going to bed. It's like, it's really, really sweet. Okay, so let's look at some more cards now. All of these readings are getting way too long. We have Orphans, we have Thinker, and we have Time for a Nap. Okay, yeah, with Orphaned, yeah, this person gets lonely quite easily. I'm really seeing this person as like having puppy energy. You know, when you come home and your puppy just like runs up to you like, ah, look at this sock, oh my gosh, and just so, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be making this person sound stupid because they are far from that. They're really, really affectionate. They really, like, they need stimulation. They like to have people around them. And they could get kind of sad, like, if if they don't hear from you for a long time, or they can't see you for a long time, they really want that closeness. And I think in a physical sense too, you know, they like to have somebody around them, you know, like they like to be able to hold hands or have like your arm around them. It comforts them, you know. So they could, yeah, they could be a little bit not clingy, but just like very affectionate, and like they like your attention, basically. They like your attention. They like to be with you. This is like, I'm also getting like Gemini with this, like wanting stimulation and wanting to talk a lot, wanting to be around you a lot. Yeah. And then there's Thinker as well. So this is actually like a nice card to come out after this, because I know like so far it kind of has this feeling like maybe like they think in a lot of places but can't go very deep. But this tells me that they can think very, very deeply about things. This would be the type of person who likes to think. They like to think a lot before they make decisions, like especially important decisions. They want to know like all the information and really have time to consider it. This is not someone who likes to be rushed when it comes to these things, with like thinking through things, but I think also just with like their, you know, their workflow or like their daily life. And that goes again with, you know, liking comforts. Like when they're in their zone, they like to take their time. They like to get stuff done. And they will, I feel like they have a career where that really involves using their brain. Like it's definitely not a mindless job, and it probably involves some sort of problem solving, or like they have to manipulate a lot of different things to get the perfect finished product. There's a lot of elements that go into the stuff that they create. There's a lot to consider. So they're very good at analyzing situations, looking at details, and they really like to take their time and like make sure everything is perfect. I think this perfectionism is like in their work, not so much in like, for example, if they're like working on a project, they will like spend hours like going over this one little thing, and like they want it to be really good because it's like a representation of their skill, and like they take pride in it, so they really like to analyze it and problem solve and everything. So in that sense it's perfectionist. But like if you guys are living together, they're not a perfectionist in the sense of like you left a jar of peanut butter on the counter, you know, like they don't care in that sense. You can do whatever you want in the house. It's laid back. But when they're in the zone, when they're focused on their craft and they're in that thinker mode, like don't bother them. They are like, they're astral projecting. They're not even home. Like they're so in the zone. So they can get really, really deep in thought like that. And then we also have time for a nap. So I think this kind of goes with what we were talking about in the beginning. Definitely not that this person doesn't, because we saw like they like to meet new people, they like new things. I do think that they are most comfortable when they're just like at home with you, like relaxing. That's probably like their favorite thing to do. I don't know why, but I'm just thinking about Jenna Marbles and when she took a nap on a YouTube video, and she just like lied there and she was like, this is my favorite thing to do, just doing nothing. They have like that kind of energy. So yes, they are like funny and energetic, but they really just like to relax. They really just like to be comfortable. Yeah, and I think they're very snuggly too, because they have this little baby fox cuddled up in the moon. You know, they like to snuggle together, like if you're sleeping or if you're watching TV or something like that. They want to be like close, like little penguins huddled up together. Okay. So for the next card, we have Release Your Ex and Children. Yeah, so the Release Your Ex, to me, it's the confirmation of you guys really getting over your past relationships. The time has come to clear your energy. this could be a message for you or them, like right now. If you guys are still hung up on your ex or on past relationships, it's time to let those go. Because, you know, I feel like, you know, our brain likes to hold on to those memories to protect us in the future, right? Like, we remember those red flags because, like, we don't want it to happen again, or we're afraid it's going to happen again. But this relationship is really like apples and oranges. Like, this is not even comparable to your past relationships. I think you really just need to let them go. Not because it's blocking your manifestation, because we saw like everything is totally on track there, just for your own well-being. It could even be this relationship like helps you to do that. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. But yeah, totally putting the past behind you. Another confirming message of that. We have children here, so you could very well be having children with this person. It also kind of works with that childlike nature of the relationship. And I'm also feeling with this card that your soulmate is somebody who really loves children and also loves animals. And I think they just love them because they're so much fun and they're very pure, you know, especially as someone who has, you know, they've seen the ugly side of people for sure, you know, they've seen how nasty adults can be, right? So I think they kind of like that. Like, a dog would never do anything to, you know, betray you or fuck you over or make you sad, or like, well, it's debatable about a child, but I think they like the innocence, they like the purity of them, and they like that sort of energetic and fun nature about them. And definitely could be somebody who wants children, I think. You guys could even have 2 children together, or 3 dogs if you're into that. Okay, so let's look at the next ones. Recovery. You guys keep getting like really similar messages, like letting go of the past, rebirth, recovery, and success. Ooh, so this could be somebody who is very successful. That makes sense with what we're talking about with like thinker, how they really, really take their work seriously. They put a lot of thought into it. They're very perfectionist about it. I think this could be somebody who is self-employed, because I'm just thinking about how much they like care about their output and how they really feel it represents them, which I guess you could feel in a corporate job, but I think it's a little bit less likely because you're not really representing yourself. You know, like you're doing it for someone else. So I would guess that they're self-employed, or they're in like, they have their own business or something, and so they've put a lot of work, a lot of care into it, and they've become quite successful. I kind of feel like with this energy, it's like they have all their ducks in a row, like except for the relationship department, and they're like waiting for that to come through, and that's like their last cup, like the missing piece to the puzzle. Yeah, okay, so we just have a few cards left, and this is going to represent like the steps in your journey together, or how it's going to go. So we have the birds, the moon, and mountains. I think this is the mountains. I'm not super familiar with this deck, so I'm sorry if I called them the wrong thing. But this card with the birds, this is about like talking, communication. It's also about like social media. So the beginning stages of your relationship could be like you're talking a lot online, or you're texting a lot. Something that's like not in person. With this card, the moon, this is also about like, you know, fame and your public image. So maybe this person is a public figure, or like a friend of a friend, someone in your circle that you feel kind of like removed from, but they have a really nice like image and you want to get to know them more. So it could be like you comment on one of their pictures, or you send them a message, or like a friend links you up, but it's like you're bridging the gap like digitally first and then coming together in person. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting with these combined. And like I said, it could be a public figure because the mountains, this is about like obstacles or barriers. Of course, it doesn't have to be that, like it doesn't have to be that they're a public figure and that's the barrier. It very well could be with the moon. It could be, this obstacle could be like they're very busy with work, or could even be, it could even be lockdown if you're watching this in May. But yeah, some kind of barrier or some kind of obstacle in coming together. But what's really sweet is like, I think this is the same character on these two cards. So it's like they're sitting up here on the branch on the moon, and then they decide to like hop down and walk over the obstacles to get to you. So whatever this obstacle is, they're not phased about it. They're not worried about it. They're going to find their way to you anyway, so that you guys can really be together in person. I also want to mention the numbers on here because there's 12, 21. And so these numbers are mirroring each other. I've been seeing these numbers a lot in personal readings, and have even gotten like messages from people who they say they've been seeing 12, 21 a lot, or like 21, 12. But basically, yeah, mirrors. I think this is showing that you guys mirror each other. So probably, I know throughout this reading, like I've been saying it, like they had this in this experience, or they have this in this personality trait. I wouldn't be surprised if you could resonate with a lot of those things as well, because it does seem like you're quite similar. Yeah, mirrors. Okay, so that got very long as well. I have 2 more to film, so wish me luck. Thank you very much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Hi, number 3s. So if you chose the blue calcite, this is going to be your reading. Okay, so the energy that I am picking up from your soulmate is it's a very positive, optimistic sort of energy. I would describe them, I guess, as like high vibrational, so to speak. They really uplift people around them. So what's nice about this person is like, you know, like when we're in that high vibe, you'll hear a lot of the time people say like, make sure be careful who you hang out around, because if you're hanging out with more like low vibe people, it could bring you down. But I kind of see it working like the opposite way for them. It's like rather than that negativity getting to them, they're actually able to like transmute that negativity into positivity. So this is the type of person like who is impossible to hate, or like it's impossible to be sad around them, because they just have this way of like transforming your negative thoughts or your negative energy, like kind of like a ray of sunshine, but it feels very effortless, you know? It's not like they're super in your face, like ball of sunshine, cheery, like all the time. It's like this effortless thing. It's just their aura that like uplifts people around them. So that's really, really nice. They're also very responsible. So like they take good care of themselves, groom themselves nicely, keep their house clean. They're really on top of their stuff, you know, like errands and tasks that they have to do. Like if you give this person a task to do on Thursday, they're gonna do it on Thursday. Like they actually do it. I feel like they actually have a sleep schedule. I don't know, maybe it's just me that doesn't have one and I think that's ridiculous, but like they're very like put together, very responsible. I have like an image of them like cooking, and this image of like, you might feel bad sometimes like when you're dating this person and you're together, because like they just do everything. Like they're so on top of stuff, and maybe you kind of feel bad, like, can I help out more? But like, no, they genuinely like doing all this stuff, and it's like they can just do things with minimal effort, you know? Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the cards. So we're gonna look at this first card to describe your connection, and we have color. So this card, to me, it always makes me think of diversity and variety. So I actually think that you two might be quite different in like your upbringing, the experiences that you've had, your personality, your mannerisms. You could even be like from different culture, different country, different backgrounds. But that's the kind of feeling I get with this, you know, like a painting with all different colors in it, but it works together really beautifully. So I think that your differences really complement each other. And also I think that even within the relationship, it would be, you know, you would have many different experiences, you know, trying all kinds of different things together, having a lot of different experiences. So it's not like the same thing every day. I definitely think this person has a routine from how I was picking up on their energy, but like, let's say for example, like your date night is Saturday. That's like your routine. But you're not going to do the same thing every date night. Like you're going to go to all kinds of different places. Like this person, they're like, oh, I know this hole in the wall, and they just take you to all of these kinds of interesting places. Yeah, this could be like an international relationship. I'm feeling like you're quite different. There's like diversity to it. But yeah, very nice. And also when I think of color, I think of true colors. We can see the light emanating from the heart. So you're really able to let your true colors shine through to this person. They're able to let their true colors shine through to you. And it's just, your heart feels very full when you're around them. And it's a relationship that really lets you shine. I think that you are a great support for each other. You help each other to believe that anything is possible, and I think probably you lift their spirits just as much as they lift your spirits and the people around them. So this is a really, really gorgeous card. And then with the number 40, this adds up to the number 4, and 4 is all about stability. So stability, security, commitment, that's definitely what this person will be looking for, will be able to give to you. I think they will be pretty secure in life, whatever they're doing, like whatever career it is that they have, and they'll be like a provider for the relationship. I see both of you providing in different ways and making it work together, because you each have like these different colors to you, and when they come together it makes the full painting, if you know what I mean. But yes, stable person, committed, very giving, and a very like exciting, diverse relationship and diverse experiences. Okay, so let's take some more cards to look at the nature of this connection. Wow, so we have Eight of Wands and the Tower. Okay, so let's talk about the Eight of Wands first. So you are manifesting this connection right now. You may not realize it. This card, it is about things manifesting quickly, but to me it also kind of has a feeling of like frustration. Like this card has the meaning of delays are over for you, which implies that there have been delays. So you guys may be feeling quite frustrated, waiting for this relationship to come together, or waiting to even like meet your soulmate or find out who your soulmate is. And this card is quite sudden manifestation. So it's like you're waiting, what's going on? And then just one day, like all of a sudden, boom, like it blindsides you. And actually these cards kind of go well together, because in terms of things manifesting, they kind of have that similar energy of like popping into your life when you least expect it. With the Tower, this is something that manifests into your life like kind of when you're at a low point. You know, the Tower has a lot of uncertainty. It can be a kind of like sad or stressful moment in your life where you really don't know what lies ahead for you. You know, like it really feels, you know, like this card, like things are falling apart, and it could be a point in your life where you're really, really questioning, like, where do I go from here? What do I want? What should I do? and it can feel quite scary. And yeah, I feel like this is just gonna like come and like hit you in the back of the head, and you're gonna be like, what? And your soulmate's gonna just be standing there. So I'm getting this feeling, so the nature of this connection, or the reason for it, is to teach you a lesson about patience and the divine plan. And I feel like the way you've been approaching finding this soulmate now, or the way you envision it happening right now, the universe has something else in mind for you. And so like a really, really big lesson for you that you're going to learn in this connection, but that is a lesson like in general for everything in life, is just to trust the divine plan, because it has a better perspective of things than you do. And so maybe this is like a karmic lesson for you to learn. Like perhaps historically you've been someone who really, really tries to, you know, control the outcome of things, or control, you know, how and when things happen, or you've been the type to really like obsess over those things. Like you might watch like 10 videos like this one to find out like, when am I going to meet my soulmate? And like you're never satisfied. Like you just want to keep knowing when, or like, how am I going to meet them? Who are they? You know, and like the divine is like, girl, if you don't let me, like, come on. Like, yeah, I feel like there's this frustration, like wanting to know everything, wanting to control everything. And that's the karmic lesson for you to learn, is like, you got to trust the universe. Because not trusting the universe equates to not trusting yourself. You were born, like you came into this world with a built-in compass that is going to lead you right towards everything you need, or everything you're like destined to have, just through your own free will, just through following your whims and following your intuition. You will be led there. You don't have to think about it so much. And so what I think has happened is that like you've kind of tried to micromanage or obsess over it so much, and you've kind of gone down this path, and the universe is like, pick you up and put you on the right path. And you're going to be surprised by how this comes about. And that is the lesson for you to learn. You know, like you tried to control all this stuff by yourself, tried to determine all these things, and you got all the way over here. And in a split second, the universe can just pick you up and go, nope, you're over here. Like anything can change in a heartbeat. And so, you know, trying to work things out from your limited perspective as a human is only going to get you so far. I think that's the biggest lesson for you in this connection. It might be a lesson that your soulmate is learning as well. I feel like it's more for you though. That's like the nature of this connection. It's to learn a really, really important lesson just about the universe, about the divine. You know, like you see, I told you your soulmate was coming. You just had no idea. Yeah, okay, so let's look at some characteristics about this person. There's the devil. This does not mean they're the devil, don't worry. And the 9 of Wands. Okay, so the devil is Capricorn energy. So this person could be Capricorn or have like 10th house placements or have Capricorn in their charts. This is also fire. This is also fire. Don't know what the tower is. I don't even know if it has a sign associated with it. But yeah, definitely Capricorn and some fire. Maybe those are your placements too. I always say, or I frequently say, that earth and fire is like one of my favorite combinations, because you get like the best of both worlds. You get the spontaneity, you get the passion, you get the adventure, you get the chemistry, the sparks, and then you also get the stability. You also get the practicality. You also get the feeling of being grounded and secure. You know, if you have too much of fire, it could be kind of like a reckless feeling. And if you have too much of the earth, it could be boring. So I just really, really like that balance. Even like the devil in his Capricornness, he has that fire with him. So let's talk about this devil card, because it's definitely not that your soulmate is a devil. They could be devilishly attractive or devilishly charming. This card is kind of about, you know, obsessions, or like a very, very strong attraction to someone, very strong physical chemistry. So I think that you would probably know when you meet this person, because you're going to be feeling some things. There's gonna be some things going on, like in your body, like your stomach turning. Oh my gosh, I've never seen someone so attractive. Yeah. And if I think about the Capricorn energy, it could be somebody who is quite ambitious, hardworking, probably have reached a pretty decent level of success, and someone who has a good reputation. I think this would be somebody who works like with a large group of people, or like with a large, what am I trying to say? Like, for example, they have a lot of customers, they have a lot of clients, they have a lot of people watching them, or they work like in a very big business, because I'm thinking about 10th house, which is really like your career, your public image, and things like that. They may really have to, you know, be conscious of their image or take care of their image in their career, really have this like put together look. So maybe like their company is more traditional. Like you really have to dress nice, you really have to present yourself well, you know, show respect and you respect authority and those things. So yeah, they're very good at being like professional, of having their stuff together. And I do think that's just part of who they truly are. You know, they are a very well put together person, but definitely not boring. Like they have the passion in them. Very passionate person. I get like a very strong like sexual energy from them, kind of like dominant, sort of, not in an overbearing way, but like when it's time to be in that energy, they can dish it out for sure. Okay, let's move on to the Nine of Wands. That's easier to talk about. So the Nine of Wands, this is a fighter spirit. This is somebody who doesn't give up. Very strong. They can endure a lot. They can tolerate a lot. I guess a kind of negative meaning with this card, because it is like the Nine of Wands is like 9. It's before the 10, before the completion. So it's like that you're almost there, keep fighting. So they do have that fighting spirit where they can see things through to the end and they can be strong, but they may also kind of be the type where like they're never satisfied with what they've done. If they like finish a project and like submit it, they could be wondering like, oh, I could have done that better. I could have done more. They're like the person who always wants to go the extra mile, which is great for their career because I think like it's gotten them to where they are now. And of course, in a romantic relationship, like they're always going to go the extra mile for you, but they may just need some help learning how to like, you know, give themselves a rest, give themselves a break, you know? Like nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect. So you know, it's a great thing to do your best, but you also have to recognize that like you're never going to be 100% satisfied, or it's very, very rare. So you have to know when to be like, okay, this is enough, and sort of prioritize your well-being or your sanity. I feel like this person has a really, really strong work drive. They could even kind of be like a workaholic, but I think they really love what they do. So, you know, it's not something that brings them stress, or you know, it's not something that takes away from your relationship because like they're too busy or something, because they have a lot of energy. I don't think it's work that really drains them physically. They have really, really strong drive. Like I feel very strong like Mars energy from this person, even though this is a Capricorn card. There's a lot of fire here. He's holding the torch. He even has these horns that they kind of look like Aries horns to me. So very fiery, driven. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had like a strong Mars in their chart. Yeah, and very passionate. Ooh, I'm like feeling it. Like this person will just sweep you off your feet, like just make you weak in the knees. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so let's look at some more cards of their personality. Serendipity, a leg up, and chop wood. Okay, so your soulmate is Jimian. I'm just kidding. So, or is it? We have serendipity combined with chop wood. So this tells me we've already established that this person, you know, has reached a level of success and, you know, a good reputation. So I think for them, it's really been a combination of their super, super hard work and luck. So with their positive, optimistic energy, I think they probably attract a lot of luck to them, you know, because that's how manifestation works, right? Like what you put out, you get back. So they've put out a lot of positivity into the world, and so luck tends to favor them. They probably, well, probably both of you, you know, have a spiritual team like working with you. Interestingly, like with this color and, you know, about you guys having like different experiences, it seems like this team that is helping you, like your guides or angels, they've been helping your soulmate, you know, with the career stuff, with like manifesting the material stuff, the success. That's not to say that you haven't done that as well, but I feel like with you, they're more working with like the spiritual aspect, the emotional healing. And then like when you come together, ooh, that makes sense. Okay, I'm getting too ahead of myself. When you come together, it's like you help each other in the respective ways that you have grown and learned and excelled in life. But anyway, back to your soulmate. So yeah, it's been a combination of luck and hard work. And I think that they really recognize that, you know, like they recognize, acknowledge, and are proud of the hard work that they've put in, you know. They don't like downplay that. I think they are very proud of themselves, like, because they love what they do, they take pride in it. But they also don't fail to acknowledge that they have been quite lucky, because, you know, hard work is only really part of it, right? There are some people who work their butts off and they never really make it, or they don't get as high as they would have liked to really, really propel and really be successful. It is like the combination of hard work and just chance, like favoring you, you know, meeting the right people or being in the right place at the right time. So they're not like, I guess they're not like cocky about it, you know, like, oh, I'm so amazing, like look at how far I've come. They do recognize, like, you know, I was pretty lucky to get the opportunities that I have, and to, you know, have the connections that I did, and, you know, maybe just came into this field at like the perfect time when the market was, I don't know anything about business, but like they recognize that, you know. And I don't know how like spiritual this person is, but I feel like they definitely have a sense that something, like it feels like something is looking out for them. Like if they look back at their life, I've been pretty lucky with this and this and this, like, you know, someone's got my back, the universe has got my back, this kind of feeling. And then we have the leg up, and this was kind of like a light bulb going off when I was talking about you guys like helping each other with the respective things that you've learned on your journey, because this is really like getting help or getting an advantage. And so, you know, they've done this work in the material world, that, and now you get a leg up because they're going to share that with you. They're going to propel you in that sense. And so similarly with you and this, you know, spiritual work that you've been going through, I feel like you're going to give them the leg up. You're going to help them in that way. So you're like coming together with your different colors and you're completing the painting, you know, you're helping each other. You're helping each other. And that makes sense with like you both providing in the relationship, both providing in the household, you know, you're different, but it comes together and it works. And yeah, also with this card, like they're not the type to like hog their success or something. Like they've made it to the top, or they've made it however high they've made it. It's not like they don't want other people up there with them, or like they don't think like that about their rivals or whatever. They want everybody to make it and experience what they are and be successful as well. So they may like pave the way and then help other people through that door, because this is a really, really kind and positive person, you know. They just want everybody to be happy. So yeah, but it's hard to call them sweet when they're like, ooh, they're like staring at me with this piercing gaze. They look really serious, but they are a sweetie at heart. Maybe it's that type where they have that face where they look really serious and they look kind of like intimidating, but then they open their mouth and they're like the sweetest, what do you call them? Sweetest, Do people still say cinnamon roll? I feel like they don't. Okay, let's move on to some more cards. Honeymoon. And let go of let go of control issues. I feel like this is for you. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. Yeah, this is kind of a reiteration of the messages that we got here. This relationship is going to come in when you least expect it, with very little like planning or intention set on your part, at least not in the way that you were planning or the way that you were intending. This honeymoon card, I feel like there's some kind of like travel involved with this coming together. Like we have these two, the couple on the boat with the angel who's guiding them. And there's like the planet Earth here. And I was getting that feeling of like diversity in the relationship. So you could meet them. And that could make sense with a tower moment as well. Like things suddenly change for you, or suddenly like you're questioning your life and you could just like pick up and move somewhere. Like something really drastic like that changes. Like you get put somewhere else that you weren't expecting, and that's when you meet them. Or you could meet them like on a holiday. This could also just be that you travel a lot together in your relationship, because I did see you with... Okay, never mind. Okay, the nails have spoken. I did see you with this color card, you know, having a lot of different experiences together. So this could be representative of you guys traveling together. So it could be both of those things maybe. But yeah, you will meet them at a time of your life with drastic change, where it feels just like the world is spinning and things are falling apart, and then just like poop, they like plop into your life like that. Yeah. I'm feeling, I don't know why I just got this feeling, but I feel like you will meet this person when you go out on a night that you really didn't want to go out. You're just like, oh, I'm not feeling it. And that would be so like poetic, right? Because it's like the final testament to this. Like if you just put all your stuff aside and just trust us, like just come out. I feel like you're maybe not like, oh, I'm not gonna know anyone there, or I'm too tired. But then like at the last minute you just rally and go. And I feel like that's when you're gonna meet them. And you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, they are so hot. Ah, yeah. And even how you meet, it could be this serendipity. Yeah. Okay. So a couple more. Don't stop. You can't see that. There we go. And no need to worry. So I'm kind of interpreting these like in two ways. I can interpret these as messages of guidance for you, because with what like we've covered about the way this is coming about, these messages do make sense as like guidance to you. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. There's nothing to worry about. Don't overthink the process so much. Just go with the flow. Follow where your intuition leads you, and like leave the rest up to us, you know? Like you're doing a lot. Like just leave it to us. And when I say us, I mean your angels who are working with you and helping you. So this could be a message from them. But then if I look at these in a different way, I can also see them reflecting like your soulmate's characteristics, right? Because with the Nine of Wands, they had this energy where maybe they kind of don't know when to stop when it comes to their goals, when it comes to their ambition. So this could be like them, and then I'm also thinking like with the Devil, with like their like passionate, dominant energy. Maybe they can, you know, not stop for a long time. And then the no need to worry card, I feel like this is also them, because they like to be on top of things so much. They like to stay on top of tasks and things like that, you know, around the house. And they don't want you to like, oh, don't get up, I'll do it, like I'll don't worry about it. And so like I was kind of saying in the beginning how you're gonna feel bad, like don't you want me to do more? And they're like, no, I'll do everything. I'm talking about this in like in a general sense, but okay. So let's look at the last cards, and this is going to be the flow of events leading to your union. So there is the Child. I don't know what this one is called. I'm still not super familiar with this deck, so I'll just call it the Book for now. And the Tree. Okay. I think this may actually be referring to like the flow of your relationship rather than like leading to your union, because we've already established it's going to be something kind of sudden, unexpected, something that takes you on a completely different path, possibly moving somewhere new, traveling somewhere. And when I look at these energies, it kind of looks like the way your relationship develops more so. Because we have this childish energy, right? So I think this represents the point where, you know, you've come together and you still have a lot to learn from each other. So I actually think in this relationship, like you'll grow together. They will mature in ways that they need to mature, but you already have. And you will mature in ways that you need to mature, but they already have. And then you come together like this and you become from children to grown-ups. And interestingly, it goes like from 13 to 26. So it's like doubling, you know, like their experiences, their knowledge, your experiences and your knowledge put together. Now you have double the wisdom, you have double the insights, you have double the strength together. And this book, I'm just going to look at the booklet. Why don't we do that? I should stop being lazy. Knowledge and learning. That makes sense. Yeah. So I think you have a lot to learn from each other. Growing, learning, and then we have the tree, which is like, you know, the roots, the stable roots in the ground, and now you're able to grow the branches and grow the leaves. So this is when like your relationship really solidifies. So maybe you're friends at first, you're just getting to know each other, you're talking a lot, and you realize how much you can learn from this person, how much insight they bring to your life. With this like lock, with the keyhole, it's like bringing you new perspectives, or bringing each other new perspectives that you never considered before. And so there's a lot of growth together, and that is what solidifies your relationship and then makes you think to move it to something romantic. Yeah, so I'm gonna end this quickly because my camera's almost dead and it just overheated. So thank you very, very much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye! Hi number 4s, so if you chose this fluorite, this is going to be your reading. So if I pick up on the energy of your soulmate, it feels kind of vague, so I may have a hard time to explain this, but I think that currently they are in the process of trying new things to like better their life or better their well-being. I know that that's super vague, but for example, you know, like reading self-help books, or like, you know, practicing meditating or journaling, or like paying more attention to what they eat, like these kinds of things. Like everyday habits that just make your mental health better, make you a healthier person. It seems like they're really focused on that right now. Emotionally, it's like they're content. Like I feel like this person has, you know, quite a lot going for them. They have a lot to be happy about, but kind of just feels like something's missing for them. Like that sort of nagging feeling of like dissatisfaction, or that something is missing. I feel like that's kind of where they're at right now, and they're trying to take steps to, I guess, feel better, like feel in a better headspace. That's kind of what I'm picking up from them right now. Okay, so I'm sorry that was not more specific, but let's get into the cards. So this is the first card for you guys to describe your connection, and it says authentic truth. Wow. So definitely high level soul connection. I'm almost leaning toward twin flames right now, and the reason for that is because that sort of connection is one that really, really requires you to be in touch with your inner voice and your inner truth. Because on the outside world, in connections like twin flame, there's a lot of barriers and there can be a lot of doubt because the connection feels so like unlikely to actually happen in real life. Maybe this soulmate that you're asking about is kind of an unlikely partner in like 3D terms. That's a weird way to put it. Like in physical terms, the people that you are, it seems like an unlikely pairing or unlikely to happen. And in this connection, it's going to be really, really important for you. And I know this sounds weird, like me saying it as somebody who is giving you a reading, but to try your best not to let the outer voices, like what other people think or what other people say, and even your own inner voice that is, you know, doubting you and talking down to you and trying to tell you this, like, this is dumb, this isn't real, invalidating what your heart is feeling. You really have to shut those out and listen to your inner voice and listen to what your heart says about this connection, because that is your truth. So that's the biggest lesson for you in this connection. This card also has the number 4. So this means that your angels are hard at work to bring this into your physical experience, to ground this into reality. This is a card of, you know, stability, or sorry, the number of stability, of laying foundation. And I think probably you guys have gone through just a lot of doubts with this connection, and it's totally okay. Because that's just the nature of these connections. You know, you kind of have to overlook the external circumstances or overlook what's going on the surface in the physical and really tap into your higher self, you know, to feel united with this person through all of the challenges. So yeah, definitely getting a twin flame vibe from this card, and this connection serves to teach you to listen to that inner voice. Listen to your truth, not anybody else's truth. Doesn't matter. Like, you should get to a point where, you know, you could watch, let's say like you're watching a video and there are like 10 signs that this is your twin flame, and you hit 0 of them, and you still watch that and you're like, I do not care. This is my truth. This is my story. This is my experience. This is my connection, and I know it better than anybody else. Really like claiming that power of telling your story, of creating your destiny. The timer just hit 444, and this is the number 4. So, okay, awesome. Let's see what the tarot cards have to say about this soulmate relationship. There's the 5 of Swords, and yeah, 4 of Wands. This is the card that I always read as the twin flame card, because it looks like 1111, and you can see these two people coming into union. 1111 is like the number of your destiny, and this card often, you know, it talks about union, celebration, weddings, this kind of thing. So, and another 4, so confirmation again for you. And probably you already know this, you already feel this in your heart, and it's just, it's funny, like these two cards kind of, you know, tell exactly what we were just talking about, because this is a card about conflict and confusion. So I do feel like there's a lot of inner conflict about this. You know, some days you feel really good about it. I think a lot of you, that like, given that I'm talking like this, I think a lot of you know who this person is, or you can feel them really, really clearly, and you're like, I know my twin is out there. I know I'm supposed to find them. I'm supposed to meet them. So some days you feel really, really good about that. You feel really strong in your belief. But then, you know, some days, like, maybe you see some like contradicting evidence in the physical world, or somebody says some comment, or you see some comment on YouTube even, and it kind of knocks you off your balance, and you start to lose hope again. And I kind of see it, it's kind of tiring, right? This like back and forth, and it's like, I just wish I could have like more solid confirmation. I just wish I could have a sign and I could know this for sure. Because I think for a lot of you guys, like, you've been aware of this connection and, you know, wishing for it to happen for such a long time, and you're like, please God, like if this isn't a real, if this connection isn't real, if this is all in my head, like just tell me, and I'll let go of this, because it's a lot. It's really hard, you know, knowing that this connection is there and then not being able to experience it in your life every day. It's a very tiring journey. And there may be like a little part of you that, you know, maybe doesn't want to believe it, or like wants to be set free, because it is kind of a mentally tiring place to be in when so much of it is happening in like higher dimensions. Yeah, it's a tricky, the twin flame is a tricky connection, and this is the only one actually out of all four where I am picking up on a twin flame thing. Yeah, it's kind of difficult, and I feel like you are meant to overcome it with the authentic truth and see for yourself that the truth that was within you, the truth that was in your heart, was the truth all along. That's going to be such a beautiful and such a freeing revelation for you. So let's look at some cards for your soulmate's characteristics. There's the 7 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so a very driven person, a very dedicated person, and very authentic as well. So let's talk about the 7 of Swords. I feel like your person, your soulmate, has been through it a little bit in life. This is about, you know, like betrayals, dishonesty, deception, or people coming to you with, you know, not the most sincere of intentions. You know, like they act like they're your friend, but then they just want something from you, or maybe, you know, they've manipulated you, or, you know, they've dealt with a lot of people, like they've really seen the shallowness of people and how people can turn so quickly, like because of their own motives. So I do feel this person could have been, you know, had a lot of encounters with, let's say, like snakes, you know, like people who don't really show their true self. But instead of, you know, getting mad and taking it out on the world around them, they put the focus back into themselves and said, okay, like I'm not going to rely on anybody else for my success and for my happiness, you know? I'm not going to rely on other people's like false promises, or just like trust somebody to come through for me and make things work. I'm going to take this into my own hands. So that was a really, really good lesson for them to learn. And then you can see this guy here on the 8 of Pentacles card. He is hard. He's hard at work. I was feeling this for another pile. I forget which one, but I feel this one as well is also kind of a self-made person. I just got the image of like a writer or somebody who is quite vocal about their opinions, or they like give guidance or share their views for a living. Maybe they like post motivational. There's something with them writing or communicating their message and motivating others with their dedication, with their drive, with their motivation, with the life that they've created for themselves. Yeah, like what they've made of themselves. They're very into that like self-development. Yeah, and they're very, very independent, you know, so they don't rely on anyone else to make their dreams work. They really took the initiative, took it into their own hands. This card, the 8 of Pentacles, I do read it, you know, as putting the devotion and dedication into your work, into your craft, but I also read it as like putting that work into yourself. So it kind of goes with the intuitive message in the beginning. I do think that this person, you know, focuses a lot on improving their well-being, you know, mental health and things like that. It's a priority for them, and they do, you know, frequently check in with themselves and make sure they're good. So they really put in that work and that maintenance into themselves, which is really great to see, because as you probably know, as a twin flame, that is like a really great thing you can do for the union, is like do the work on yourself, and, you know, find your mission and put your work into your mission, your higher calling. And I do think that's what this person is doing. I think that your soulmate has found their mission in this world. They have found their calling, and they're doing that independently, and probably are quite successful. And maybe that's why they have all these kind of, you know, what's the opposite of genuine? I guess fake? Like fake or sneaky people with kind of self-serving intentions approaching them because, you know, maybe they feel like they can get something out of their success, you know, like your soulmate, they've put in all the work, you know, they've done all the dirty work to get to where they are. And so some people, you know, they want to skip the dirty work and they want to get in on this, you know, so maybe that's why they have, I feel like it's why they've gotten to this level, but it's still continuing, this kind of being, there's people who could take advantage of them and things like that. So they're very careful about, you know, protecting their energy, you know, protecting their energy from vampires. Probably this person is quite selective about who they hang around with this Seven of Swords. I'm thinking about another deck that I have, and these tarot cards have phrases on them. I believe this one says, I take great care of what I value. And this one says something about, you know, like being dedicated to everything that you do. So they're a very careful person. They're quite calculated. I think they're quite deliberate in what they do. They're very careful. Like in the sense of cautious, but also in the sense like they put a lot of care and consideration into the things that they do. And for those people who are, you know, genuine and who are really looking to find their purpose and put in the work, they are a very motivating and a very helpful figure for those people. I think that they're kind of an introvert, and they can get really, really absorbed in the work that they're doing, or really, really absorbed in learning. They have really good focus, really good memory. Yeah, like they can get super absorbed into things. Really, really good like concentration, really good attention skills. I also feel like they have a pet. I don't know why that just came up. But I kind of see them, you know, introverted, sort of tucked away in their home, working on things. And then they have like their cat to keep them company, like this kind of thing. Yeah, wow, that was kind of weird. So let's look at some more cards for this person's characteristics. There's TikTok, to the sea, and why. Okay, so you can see like the image on this card. It looks like the time is flying away, like the numbers are slipping out of the person's hands. This makes me think of, you know, things like time running out or like life is short. So what I'm kind of getting for characteristics of this person is that they really, really value their time, and they try to make the best out of their life and make the most out of every experience they have. So, you know, like I was kind of saying, if they had some sort of bad experiences with people, rather than getting bitter about it, they use that as fuel. They use that as motivation to make themselves better. So really making the best out of everything. They have that energy of like an optimistic realist, or a realistic optimist. I don't know which way you say it. Yeah, but they really, really value their time. Like I was saying, very selective about who they give their time to. Like they don't want to waste their time. I think they maybe had some kind of experience that was like a tragic experience, like losing something or losing someone in their life that made them really realize how short life is and how much you really have to treasure like every single moment. So they do their best to be present and to really honor like the time that they were given on this earth. This person could be quite spiritual, you know, like being present, being optimistic, being patient. I feel like those are lessons we talk about a lot in like spirituality, but they don't have to be, of course, because you can approach those sort of lessons in a practical way as well. But I do think at the very least they do believe in divine timing in a way, and like destiny. So they are patient and they will wait for the divine plan. They will wait for perfect timing. But at the same time, they're not gonna like, you know, if there's an opportunity, they're not gonna like wait around for it to come to them. They're going to go out and grab it. you know, they take inspired action. We have to the sea as well. So if you look at the imagery of this card, it looks like this person is very reflective, you know, they like to spend time alone, or they like to process things on their own. So if something was bothering this person, I think rather than like going to somebody else for advice, they would rather like try to find the answer within, right? Because they're very independent, they're very self-reliant. They want to find the answer within, and that's kind of cool, because I think it goes with this like authentic truth, you know. They don't want to you know, behave in a certain way or think in a certain way just because it's the status quo, you know. They want to find their own unique message and their own unique truth. And probably this reflection is what helps like with their craft, with their writing, if that's what they do, or with the work that they do. Like they put a lot of reflection into it before they actually go and put it out there. And I also am feeling with this card like accountability, because I'm thinking about being like introspective, you know. So instead of, you know, blaming the other person, they'll really look back within themselves and think like, you know, what responsibility did I have in how things played out, and how can I act differently next time? So they really like to think about the scenario and from like a million different angles and really analyze everything like that. Yes. I think I'm looking at the water on this card, like the still waters. What's the expression? Still waters run deep. So I do feel like on the outside, they probably have a very like calm and composed and put together sort of demeanor, but they can go really, really deep. Like when you get to know them, I feel like the image that they present to people, or the persona that they present to people, is just the tip of the iceberg. And maybe a lot of people don't really know that they have this very, very deep side to them. Maybe they are a very spiritual person, but they're not so open about it. Like they kind of keep that for themselves because they don't want other people's opinions on it, you know. Like they don't want people saying like, oh, that's dumb, like I can't believe you believe in that stuff, and they just sort of keep it to themselves. But they have this like depth of wisdom and spiritual insights and all these kind of things. And again, they're very, very selective about who they show that to, you know. Yeah, I feel like they don't show maybe their sensitive side or their vulnerable side so much. The messages that they deliver to people, it's like in a very, or the way they communicate with people, they communicate in a very practical way, and maybe don't always show that like emotional or that less rational side of themselves. That's something, yeah, they kind of keep to themselves, like this girl who's alone. I'm looking, like you can see that's not a compass, I'm dumb. That's the thing that catches the wind, right? But it looks like they're following like their true north. So again, following their authentic truth. But sometimes that can be lonely, you know? Like, this is kind of giving me like hermit energy, actually, which is Virgo energy. But it's like they're marching to the beat of their own drum. They're living their own life. But then they have these binoculars behind them too. So like, while they do take pride in doing things their own way and figuring everything out for themselves, it can be a little bit lonely. So sometimes they're like, it's like they're watching the rest of the world from afar, and you know, it can be quite lonely living a life like that when you're so introspective and reflective and stuff, because the reality is that most people don't take that much time to think about stuff, and they're just like going about their life, and you know. So I feel like sometimes they may feel like, sometimes I wish I didn't care so much and I could just go out and be like reckless and have fun like everybody else, because at least, you know, they have each other, right? So yeah, they feel a little bit like isolated, a little bit lonely. There could be a feeling like, you know, they have all this depth in them, but then like at the same time don't really know how to connect to people on a different level. And that might be something that really strikes them when they meet you, because it's like you have this soul connection and there's something about you, even if you've only talked for a few seconds, like it's so easy for them to feel like this depth has been plunged into. Like they feel really connected really quickly, and I feel like that's kind of rare. That's kind of rare for them. And like these walls that they've put up, you just knock them down so easily. But like, it's not scary. It feels comfortable to them. It feels safe. Okay, so with the Y card, again, this gives me a very like thinking, reflective kind of vibe. I think this person is very smart and very well read. And they have knowledge about a lot of different topics. Like they're very, very intelligent in like the book smart sense. And they're very interested in how the world works. Like in a practical sense, you know, they're very interested in like, you know, knowing about, like, for example, what's going on in their country, what's going on in the world, what's going on in politics, with the environment, with current events. Like they like to be in the know like that, but also in a more spiritual sense. Like they want to ponder the question of like, you know, where do we come from and why are we here? And those more like abstract concepts, like they want to know it all. And so they ask a lot of questions, and I feel like they know a lot about a lot of different subjects. Like they're so freaking smart. I am definitely getting Virgo-y type energy from this person. And there's another 4. If you add up 3, 1, it makes another 4. So, I mean, yeah, that's 3. Okay, so let's look at some more cards for this relationship. There's Make the Effort. That's nice. And True Love. This is the romance of a lifetime. Okay, I think this is a little encouraging message for you, because we know that you've been through a lot with this connection, you know, waiting or dealing with barriers, dealing with, you know, trusting in it, trusting that it's real, and trusting that something's really going to come from it after all this time. And we have Make the Effort, and it says, great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So this is your confirmation message that, you know, it's absolutely worth it to wait for this connection. And when you feel that inner voice, when you feel your heart guiding you in a certain way, or guiding you to take a certain action, to reach out in a certain way, you go for it. It's totally worth it. And you may sense that, you know, this person has those walls up, or they're hard to approach, or they're selective. You might sense that. So you need to know that you are exempt from those walls. You are exempt from those barriers. You are a twin. There's part of you already inside them, already within them. So you're like infiltrating from the inside. You have like a free pass into their soul, because you are their soul. So even though they may appear like that on the outside, know that, you know, that doesn't apply to you, or it's not going to apply to you. You just have this way of, you know, getting through to them, of really seeing them. Yeah. And we have True Love. So again, very, very worth it. This is the romance of a lifetime. So you need to know that any effort, any time that you're putting into this connection, you know, this sort of mental confusion and inner conflict, and this sort of tiring, you know how it is, the back and forth in your head. It's worth it for the connection and for the joy that you're going to get out of this. It is more than you're expecting, and it is more than worth it. This is real love. This is true love, and true love is very, very rare, and it will feel so much better to, you know, go through this hard time and this hard process, and then be rewarded with the truest of loves. That will feel so much better than to, you know, throw in the towel and settle for something that you know is like not, like, less than what you could have had, or not as deep as what you could have had. This is like the ultimate, really, really rare kind of connection. Like, this is the only reading that has come out as a twin flame. So you do have something quite rare, and it's worth listening to that guidance. Yeah. So next we have, whoa, improving health. So it just reminded me of the message in the beginning. I think both of you probably, oh, and we have not the right time too. Okay, so I feel bad to like relay this message because I feel like you guys have been waiting for this relationship to come together for quite some time, but your angels on these cards seem to be telling you that there's still more healing to do. And you know, if you're feeling kind of exasperated by that, like you really feel like you've done a lot of your healing, it could be on their end, on your soulmate's end, that they need to do some healing and you're just, you know, waiting for them to catch up and waiting for everything to line up together. But divine timing is definitely at play here, and your angels are not, you have to know, like, they're not punishing you by withholding the connection. It's important not to see it like that. They're actually protecting it for you, and waiting for the conditions to be perfect so that the seed can grow and bloom into a flower. They're protecting it. They want to make sure that when the time comes that, you know, you're ready for it and that it's handled properly and that the external conditions are safe and healthy for it to grow. Like, kind of all these things need to line up. So, you know, please don't feel like, you know, this is something like bad that's happening to you. Something's being withheld. I promise, like, every step of this journey is happening for you. And every day you are more and more healed, and every day you are closer. And every day in separation is a gift to improve yourself and improve your health. So however many days until the union, you'll be that much stronger, that much wiser, that much more ready. And it's tough. Like, I know it's tough. Okay, so these are the final cards, and they're going to show like the next steps in the process towards your union with your soulmate or with your twin. So there's the coffin. I think this one is called the clover. And the ship. Okay, so there's the coffin. I'm wondering if some of you have like already been involved with this person, because of course this has the feeling like something ended or something died. So maybe some of you were already in a relationship with this person, and now it's been a really, really long time since you've heard from them, or it's been a really, really long time since you felt that things were good between the two of you and it really had hope. And maybe you're scared that it's sort of fizzled out, or that things have ended or like died between the two of you. But this card is the number 8. So this is the number of rebirth and regeneration. So there is a death, but there is also a rebirth. There is a separation, but there is a union or a reunion. And the next card you have is the clover. And this is about, you know, things starting to look up. Like you're starting to have small victories, small successes, or you start to feel like luck is on your side again. So probably, you know, when you're feeling pretty low about this, that's going to be the moment that maybe you get like a little message from them, or you get a little sign from the universe, or a little like knowledge from them, a little, you know, supporting evidence in the physical to this union happening, and you start to feel better about it little by little. This number 2, it can be, you know, about partnerships and couples, about change, and also about, you know, having faith in the situation. So things will start to look up for you. And then there's the ship, which is about like long-term, setting off to your purpose, setting off to your long-term future, your long-term destiny. And this makes me think of things getting set in motion. So it kind of seems like this thing that starts small, and then it starts to grow more and more, like it starts to trickle in more and more. So maybe, you know, you see like one little synchronicity, and then a couple weeks later, oh my gosh, you actually got communication from them. And then a little bit later, oh my gosh, you're actually seeing each other in person. Kind of like this, like a slow progression. And you start to hear this inner voice getting louder and louder. You start to believe in it more than more. And I'm actually feeling for you guys that this could be something that starts like now, like imminently. Like you get one little confirming sign and it just snowballs from there, and it's like exponentially bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, so don't worry guys, I think you're on the like the up part, the part where it gets better now, and it will be easier to believe in your authentic truth, because that is the purpose of this whole connection. With this number 3 too, this is about creation, this is about manifestation, so it is happening. Okay, so my camera has overheated twice since filming this reading. That's why like the shot keeps changing. So I'm going to end this quickly. Thank you very, very much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!